You won't let me do more than one thing at a time. Welcome to the live stream, everyone.
We are live.
Yeah. Welcome to the Scruffy City Aquatics Tuesday night live stream. And we are excited to be with you. Thank you to everyone who's already made it out in the chat. Chat's actually already got quite a bit going on, and quite a few people are already here. So that's awesome. We do want to take a moment to thank you all for being here, as well as we want to thank you, those of you on the replay. One of you I know is Keep Keeping Aquatics, because there's a message here that we'll read in just a moment. But
Yeah.
welcome everyone. Glad to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here on this Tuesday night. I am Tanner, and you've got Mitch with City Aquatics.
Scruffy City Aquatics. I like that one better. Okay, we'll go with that one. Wow, it's been a whirlwind to try and get here. It is school starting back up, so a lot of things going on. And trying to get people in the bed so they can get up early in the morning. I got to get up earlier in the morning. It's all fun, making lunches and all that stuff. We're back in August.
It is August. This year has gone by so quick, and I don't know where the time's gone.
Flies by, man. Just flies by. October will be here in no time. We were talking about some of for the former swap, now the aquatic market, the East Tennessee Fall Aquatic Market, coming up on 8/28 from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Eastern time in Knoxville, Tennessee. Actually, Fountain City, which is just north of Knoxville. I think it's considered Knoxville. Still Knoxville city limits.
Call it Knoxville. Greater Knoxville.
Greater Knoxville area. Just north of Knoxville, right off of I-75. Easy to get to. You should come out and hang out. We have a good time at that, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. So far, almost every one of them has been. The fall one's special, though. The fall one's a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. We're going to have a lot going on, and we need to start having some announcements soon on what's going on.
Yes. I don't think I've told you, but today I booked my table.
Oh, all right.
The swap. So this will be my very first fall swap for y'all. I've been to both spring swaps, but I missed the fall one. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm not booking the table last minute this time, so I think I can hopefully plan, and we can do some more. A little bit more with it. We did some sweatshirts and a couple t-shirts last time that people really liked. So
they were awesome.
Hopefully we can do more of that, because we were up till 5 a.m. doing that. I shouldn't say me. My girlfriend was. She was powering through doing it. Did a phenomenal job. So really excited about the aquatic market. Almost called it a swap.
Don't call it a swap. You know what's funny? When we put the club together, some of us have varying degrees of knowledge of those kind of things. Like, I'd never been involved in a club. I didn't know what a swap was. Like, I knew what a swap meet was. So as soon as they said, it's like a swap meet, I got it. But at the same time, I was like, but how many people are going to get it? Like, how difficult is that going to be to convey? And so, it was funny, because as time went on, everybody got tired of the questions, and we're like, okay, let's brand this thing so that it's easier to deal with. Because it is kind of confusing, because I would tell people, absolutely bring your stuff and try to swap with people. See if somebody will swap with you. None of the tables are told they have to, but we do let them know it's called a swap. So somebody might, if they have something you want, feel free to make exchanges, and people do. And even with it being called the aquatic market, people will. It's just a fun time. Yeah, I tell them the easiest thing to swap is cash.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely towards the end of the swap is when I get to trading with other people who have tables. I'll come on and be like, you know what, that looks cool. I have this that I don't want to take home with me. I know you don't want to take that home with you. Let's make a trade.
Exactly.
and then it is always a blast hanging out with everybody. But it looks like we've got Keep Keeping, who's going to catch up on the replay crew.
Hey, before we get started, this live stream is not sponsored by Lime Bubbly, but I need to open it, so I want to make sure
I like the bubblies. one of the
Yeah,
better sparkling waters. They actually have a bit of flavor to them.
they do. I love them. I don't like all sparkling. I don't like many
I don't
sparkling
either.
waters, but this lime, especially when I have tacos, it's one of my favorite things to
Oh
do.
yeah,
Burritos, tacos, all that stuff. The lime,
yeah.
it's the lime.
We go through about a bag of limes a week at in our household. We like our limes.
Oh yeah, I like lime and tea. Have you ever had lime and tea?
I have. It's been a
I
while,
mean,
but
we're
a friend,
south. We're
yeah.
south. So when I say tea, I mean sweet tea. I'm not talking about hot tea. Just to be clear. It's like we talk about biscuits. We don't have, I would guess we do have bagels, but we have biscuits everywhere.
Yes, biscuits and gravy and sweet tea. That's what we're talking.
Yeah, that's breakfast right there with a
Yeah.
side of bacon and eggs, French toast. Anyway, keep keeping see Sketty Nana and keep keeping we're in here first and keep keeping reached out to me on a comment earlier that I made on the channel that was kind of cryptic, and that image was way worse than, I mean, like, it looked good when I uploaded it, but for some reason it looks horrible the way it loaded on YouTube. But keeping says, hey, I'm out for dinner with my grandparents, so I'll be part of the replay crew. I have to ask the question, when do we get to be in the know about what you got mentioned in the community post? I'm not going to keep that a secret because it's the transaction's done. I'm just waiting on shipment, so I can go ahead and tell you about it. So I'll back up a little bit. Fish Fam Christmas. I was really interested in getting some of Dan's orange Venezuelan Corys. And so I was watching for that, and I was holding out too. Like I didn't win anything. I was holding out too because I was like, that's I'll participate. I'll be there. I'll hang out, but I'm not going to enter everyone because I don't want everything. And so, not that I didn't want things. There were things I wanted more than others. Let me be clear on that, because I wanted everything. But there were a few others too that I entered into because I thought, they've got some great stuff. I'd be interested in that as well. So anyway, one of the nights there was something that Kane and I had talked about that was going to be available, and I was on that live stream because Peplin Creek Aquatics was going to have a gift card available. And I was like, ooh, I'm all about that. So I messaged Kane. I was like, hey, that thing we were talking about, it's going to be in this live stream. They just started, the entry for it. You should jump in. So he jumped in. Neither one of us won that. And then when Peplin Creek Aquatics came up, we both entered. And I was like, hey, man, you're not supposed to enter this one. Like, I invited you to the other one. This is really rude of you to enter into this one. And he won. So he won that one. And so, we've kind of joked about it a little bit back and forth. But here recently, Kane's been real busy with a lot of things. And so he's actually downsizing a little bit on the fish side. And so he messaged me and he was like, hey, I really got this because of you. I'm not going to use it. It's already been several months. Why don't you take it? And I was like, okay, that's amazing. Thank you. And so I've been watching. They had some orange Venezuelan corridoras go up recently because I haven't been looking every day, but today I checked, they were there. And so I reached out to them. And some of you all were part of that conversation because I was trying to figure out how to do it because I didn't have, he didn't send me the instructions. Apparently there were very specific instructions on how to use this gift card and I didn't have that. So I was trying to figure out how to use it. But some great people in the Fish Fam got me in contact with Foxy. And so Foxy was able to get me taken care of. We have them ordered. We're not going to ship them for a little while because it's very hot in my area. We were looking at probably at least 2 weeks before we could. And I'm actually going to be away from the house. I'm going to be out of town for a couple of days, and I don't want them coming in while I'm gone. So we're going to hold off 3 weeks. So it'll be September before I get them. They're cool with holding on to them. And we're going to get to add some orange cories. Now that means I need to thin out the greens. So I'm going to, we've got the swap coming up in October. I don't know that I'll have them that long. But the club will definitely be sharing some more green cories, which we've done in the past. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. You all know I've been pumped about the orange Venezuelans ever since I saw them. I've been telling Tanner, I was like, I got to get some of these.
I know that's exciting. I love, they are stunning cories. One thing, what's on my mind, your bronze core, your green cories will
Yep.
interbreed. Okay.
Yep. No, I know. So
that would be sad.
Yeah. So I've probably got somewhere between 2 and 3 dozen green cories. So between the 75 and the 25.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to thin them out. I'll probably keep some of the older ones and some of the youngest ones, and then try to disperse all the ones in between. And I'll keep some in the 25 is the plan, because the 25's not that warm of a tank. I was thinking at one point maybe I would try to see if I could put something over in the 20 long, but it's kind of a warm tank. I don't know that I want to put them over there. I can't remember, is it the stir-by that are okay with a little bit warmer temperature? I need to look at that.
Yeah, so the stir-by, I try to keep them at like 78-ish.
Yeah.
Because I don't keep most of my tanks super warm.
No, I don't either. No.
73 to 74.
74, 76 is what I do.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. You're right. So 74 to 75 is what it's set on, but I have the temperature controller with the variant of one both directions. So it actually goes 73 to 76, as well as I have that thing set to where at night it allows it to go down to the coolest temperature, so that they get that day and night temperature.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Those temperature controllers are nice.
The Aeneas cories can do a little. I mean, they don't like it super warm, like 82, but they can do 78 just fine.
Yeah. Well, they may go in the beta tank then, because the beta tank is 78. That's what I keep it at.
Yeah, I think they'd do fine in there. I've actually put a couple cories out in my patio tub just as a little experiment to see how they do. And I don't see them often, but they're definitely in there and really enjoying it.
That's where all of Curtis's cories came from, and that's where I got my greens. So I know they can handle some hot temperatures, because that water gets hot. Speaking of which, I finally got the outdoor pond plugged. It had an overflow that was like an inch. I thought it was like a 2-inch. It was actually more like an inch and a quarter. And so I couldn't fill it up beyond that. And then that was like 2 inches from the lips, or from the top. So, I had like this 4-inch gap where I couldn't get any water in it. And I finally, I had a little bit of issue understanding how the measurements on all of the plumbing that I was using worked, because I was like, okay, this is an inch. And I think the first time I went, I didn't know. I was like, oh, it's not 2 inches. And so I messaged somebody from CFI, Derek's been on the live stream. I messaged him and I was like, hey, would you guys use a 1.5 or a 1-inch overflow if you use something normal? Like, you totally may not even know, but if you do. And he was like, well, I'm not sure what it is, but it's likely it is a 1.5. So I got a 1.5, didn't fit, too big. So I measured it, and it's 1.25 is what the hole was. So I went and I swapped that out for 1.25. Guess what? When you buy PVC, that dimension is the inside of the pipe.
Yep.
1.25 does not fit. So I had to do it again. However, I will say that during all that process, I went from having this big project where I was going to create this bar with holes in it and allow it to drain, to I can just get an L and I can put that L in there. And that totally was better anyway, because it doesn't take any more space.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I put together a little filter for it as well. It doesn't need it. I know I don't have a lot of plants in there, so it probably does need it right now. But I just took a planter, like a plastic, not something you would actually put out, but something you would just grow a seedling from, or something like that. Anyway, about this big. And I put my pump in it, put some bio balls in bags, media bags around it, and then put some sponge over that. And so I have that pulling the water and then going over, and it's of course dumping in, and it's still a work in progress. I've got a video that's not ready because I've not filmed everything yet, but it's coming. But anyway, nice. I've been working on that. We're going to get on topic. Let's catch up with the chat. I'm just talking.
Yeah. So
I've been got crazy tonight. So
let's see. We've got Jeff Kane in the chat. Welcome. Coro Works is asking, when are we going to get that sing-along stream?
I don't remember that.
I don't either. And
wasn't it? John said he was going to come on and sing.
That was maybe John. Mitch and I, we don't sing. That's the only issue.
Yeah, is this talking about like we were talking about beatboxing or something one time?
Maybe, I think so.
Yeah. Zen Ginger's here too. We want to make sure we
Yeah.
say hi to Zenny.
And Nan. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I skipped Zenny. I'm scrolling around and the chat keeps jumping.
It does.
Let's see. We've also got
And
the Nano
Aquarium.
Aquarium guy. I've really
Yeah.
enjoyed seeing your posts on Instagram. You have some very cool tanks and stuff to share. Nancy B in Tennessee. Hope you're doing well, Nancy. It was good seeing you on Saturday.
You skipped TK Aquascaping. I heard that guy's got a good video coming out soon.
Yeah, he's got one. I heard it's been in the queue for a while. It's still uploading. Got Silver Creek Aquatics.
What's up, Silver Creek? SCA.
Mexicali.
Lurking and swimming. Are you swimming in a tank or a pond, or you out at a pool? What are we doing? I know you can't answer me because you're swimming, but Mexicali Fish Keeper's here. What's up?
Welcome.
Saying hello to everybody. Oh, keeping was here, but that's at 9:04. We're well past that.
Nano Aquarium guy says, start trading your way up to the best item in there, like in the office, referring to the aquatic market discussion, not the swap.
That would be a lot of fun. That if I didn't, that would make a good video. Somebody come to the fall aquatic market and do a video of trading up, and that would be awesome. As a matter of fact, I may try to get out of my responsibilities, come in incognito, and try to do it.
That would be cool.
That would be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Start out with maybe a sticker or something and just say, hey, I'll give you the sticker, you give me that plant.
Yeah. I've got this plant, you give me that betta. Hey, I've got a betta here. How about that cichlid? No, we can't trade bettas for cichlids. Dee Dee's Fin-Den is here, lurking and working. That's no fun at 9 o'clock. Have you tried crystallized lime juice in PKG? I don't think I've ever had crystallized lime juice.
I have not either.
Yeah. Zenny, like they say in the South, we drink diabetes.
Diabetes. Yes, we do.
So I actually no longer do. I'm off the sugar, and which is why I've got a bubbly here.
There you go.
My chair was creaking too much. I had to find a way to get that to stop, and the only thing I could figure out was to cut out sugar. Lime and grapefruit. Okay, Skating on says I love the lime and grapefruit. I get like each, or is that a combination? Because they have some weird combinations out there too. Lemon is good too. Orange tastes like tang. I like the orange.
I'm not a big fan of the orange.
I like the orange. I'll tell you one I really liked, and I'm not, because I can't remember what it was. It was strawberry and something, and I really liked it.
The bubbly,
but it's caffeinated, and I didn't realize it. And I was drinking it at night, and I'm like, I'm too old to be drinking stuff like that at night.
See, caffeine just doesn't. I drink caffeine, but it doesn't. I can go to sleep immediately. I'm one of those people that's cursed.
I lived there for a few decades, and not anymore. Not anymore. It's that or the ADHD that gets me at night. I've got to make myself go to bed, and so I can't have any excuses. Because I would use it as an excuse, like, oh man, I drank a glass of tea. I'm going to have to go do something now. Nancy B, thank you, saying congrats. Orange are nice. I'm looking forward to them.
Coro's saying, you saying the emerald and bronze will interbreed, or the bronze and the Venezuelans will interbreed? Well, both. Yes. So all of those are Corydoras and Aeneas, and they're just variants, color variants. Essentially, it's like different types of cultivars of plants, almost same species, different color. But the Venezuelan just looks so cool.
Yeah, I was talking with my wife about it, and I was telling her what I was going to do, and she was like, "Wow, will they interbreed and everything?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "And I don't want to lose any orange that I have. Any orange that I have, I gotta cultivate that. I want that."
Definitely.
Jimmy P's Aquariums is here. Says it must be Tuesday. It says hello. Hope you bought a tape measure. As a matter of fact, Oh, it's not in my pocket anymore. I had a tape measure with me, but I didn't use it because I knew what size I needed the last time I went. And I knew this is what I had. I use this for carving. I just stuck this in my pocket. I was like, I'm going to double check myself. It was dumb. I'm not a plumber. I don't do any plumbing. As a matter of fact, the only time I've ever done plumbing, I didn't have to buy anything. I was just there to help with it. So I didn't know. It made sense to me that the outside would be the 1.25 inches. So that's what I measured. And that's not how it works. So just so y'all know, if you learn anything else tonight, the measurement on the size of the pipe is the inside.
For PVC only.
Well, for PVC. Yeah, I can't speak for anything else. Scotty Aquati is here.
I do work with a lot of pipe for work, and I have manuals of different dimensions and sizes, and there's different types of PVC, so there's different thread types and different dimension types. It's so frustrating. So I feel your frustration.
Yeah, because I mean, what I needed, I guess maybe it was imprinted or something on that. I want to call it a bulkhead, but I don't think it's a bulkhead. But are bulkheads what go on a round surface, or bulkheads are flat? Anyway,
the bulkhead would be what screws into the hole.
Yeah, right. But you have bulkheads one goes on a flat surface and one goes on a curved surface. Anyway, I think it's a bulkhead that's flat. It's probably on the bulkhead what size will go through it, because a very specific size will go through it. And I think I determined that is an inch. I think that's what it was. I bought 2 sizes just to be sure. I wasn't going back and having to trade again.
One trip to the hardware store always becomes multiple trips to the hardware store. It's inevitable.
Yeah. Well, I did need other things both times that I went, so it wasn't like it was out of the way, but it still was inconvenient and frustrating. Oh no, Zenny says you don't love them anymore.
It's because I skipped them. I'm sorry. The chat jumped on me. That's my excuse, and I'm standing by it.
Nancy B is lurking as well. My grandma always used Equal when I was a kid because she couldn't stand the bitter of Sweet and Low. It's still not great, but it will do in a pinch because I'm not drinking unsweetened tea. Now, I will say, I have acquired a taste for unsweetened tea. I do like unsweet tea. I didn't before.
Warm unsweet tea. Like I've gotten away from drinking. I'll call it the Southern sweet tea, and just started drinking. Like I have what are those? The electric kettle, and I use that to make tea at work, and that's pretty good. I like a good green tea is my go-to.
I drink green tea at night a lot. It's relaxing for me to have a cup of warm green tea.
Yeah.
While I'm reading or editing or doing something, playing video games. I'm not going to try to sound smarter than I am.
Yeah, you were painting this. When I'm in my study, I prefer to have a cup of tea.
With my Switch in my hands while I'm playing Disney Speedstorm, because that's what we're playing right now.
We've been playing, not to get off topic, we've been playing Stardew Valley. I don't know if you've seen
topics. That. Oh, yeah, my oldest loves it. I played it some. It's not my thing. Yeah. A lot of people know we're huge Disney Duck fans in this house. So anything with Scrooge McDuck in it is an instant buy. We just buy it. Doesn't matter what it is. But yeah, we bought it. I've played through quite a bit of the early part of it, and it was fun. It just loses my interest. It's not my thing. But my daughter is caught up. She's like waiting on the next release so that she can keep playing. But we did the same company. We're totally off topic. We're losing people. The same company made Disney Speedstorm, which is a Mario Kart type Disney racing game. And I dare to say, actually better game mechanics than Mario Kart. It's true.
Oh,
and it's going to
be
it's a big statement, especially for me, because I'm a huge Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart. Been playing Mario Kart ever since Super Nintendo. Anyway, back on target. Stay on target. Rico Stan says, I'm not a plumber either, but don't tell my butt crack. I won't. It's good to see you, Rico. Thanks for coming by. Oh, that's it. Unisil. You want a unisil if it's a round surface. That's what it is. Yep. Unisil is round surface and bulkhead is flat. I knew it was something.
I see.
You could probably use both. I don't know. But I think the unisil is flexible and bulkhead's hard plastic. I think that's
probably what it is. So it can latch to the round surface.
Yeah. Zenny might try something citrus. That sounds good. Fishy on Tactics, welcome to the live stream.
Welcome. Nancy B says Tanner is voluntarily getting off topic and Mitch drinks unsweet tea. Who are these people? You learn something new about us every Tuesday night. That's part of the fun. I like to get off topic, but sometimes there's so much on the topic that I feel like we need to, drill down on it. And we still haven't even gotten to the topic, though.
No, not at all. So I have to defend myself, though. I have to defend myself. I'm answering questions. I've got a child over here that's saying, hey, you've got to sign this and this and this. I'm like, okay, I got it. I'll ask you where to sign in the morning. Okay. I'll defend myself. So I did need to cut out sugar, and I did. And we were somewhere that had horrible water. And I was like, I cannot drink this. It is not, it's undrinkable.
It's probably disgusting Florida.
Water. Maybe it might have been. we might have been in Orlando. Anyway, I couldn't drink it. And I was like, well, what do you have that doesn't have sugar? What's unsweetened? And they were like, we have tea. And I was like, no, I can't have tea. And they were like, no, unsweet tea. I was like, oh, you can do that. So I had it, and it was bad, right? That first sip, I was like, I don't think I could drink this either, but it does mask the nasty water flavor.
Yeah.
And so I sipped on it, and by the end of the meal, I was like, okay, I might be able to drink this. So I've had it a few other times, and I'd say at this point I can drink it. It's not, I don't go in and go, ooh, I want some unsweet tea, but it is something that I can drink. But I normally get water. I'm a water with lemon all the way.
I am too. The lemon masks the chlorine taste as well, which is nice.
Yeah. So, but I'm a black coffee drinker. That's where all my caffeine comes from.
I am too.
Yeah.
That with a dash of honey.
In your coffee, really?
Yeah, I don't like sweetened coffee. I can't do milk. Sometimes I'll do an almond milk if I'm feeling, adventurous, but just a little teaspoon of honey, black coffee gets that just enough sweetness.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to try that. I'm the same. Like, I will drink, I call it a dessert coffee. I will drink one, or used to. I don't anymore. But I would, and it was good. I didn't dislike it. But my normal cup in the morning, my normal thermos of coffee is going to be black coffee.
Yep.
Dunkin' Colombian is my go-to for the house.
I'm a Cafe Bustelo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll drink anything, though.
It's the best out there.
I grew up on Folgers.
So Folgers is terrible. But so tonight, you may not believe it or not, but our topic is not black coffee.
Or video games.
Or video games or bulkheads, unisils. It is some of our favorite easy plants. As you can see here, Mitch has pulled up I would say this is one of both of our favorite easiest plants. This thing is indestructible. And it's Anubias.
Well, I've destroyed it, but it has grown back. So I will say I do consider that indestructible because I have melted that big Anubias that I have. I melted it completely back one time, and I still have that plant. So, that's a win. I don't remember what slides. Hold on. Let me do this. Put that away. Let me hit that. All right. You ready for slide number 1?
I am ready for slide number 1. What's behind door number 1?
I don't know. I clicked it and it hasn't come up.
There we go. And it's Anubias. 2 different types of Anubias, though.
Yeah. Which is one of the things that's really cool about this plant. They look great around one another.
Yeah, you could do a tank of entirely Anubia species and have almost every texture and size and shape imaginable. And it's a great plant. Really just hardy plant that, and key with easy plants are, in my opinion, easy plants are plants that can take the abuse. They can take you being just terrible aquarium plant keepers and still power through and survive and keep growing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is a slow grower for the most part,
Mhm.
some more so than others, but it's not going to be a plant that you have to trim, maybe ever. I mean, honestly, there's some of them that unless you just like want to propagate it or make it move or something, you don't really trim some of the species. Um, I've that Barteria I've had for so long, I have had to trim it a few times just because it keeps
Yeah.
growing the wrong direction to the back of the tank. And I'm like, you can't go back there. You got to come this way. But
I'm pretty certain that the larger Anubias in that picture is from your tank.
yeah, it looks like it. Definitely. And it's gotten large in a relatively short amount of time. When I guess that was, it might have been the winter.
It
It
was
was
the
before
fall swap,
Christmas.
I think.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it
so it's been
was
about a year. It
not
was
the
when I
fall
gave you
swap.
the
I'm
Santa
sorry.
hat. I gave you the Santa
Sorry.
hat.
Yes, that was right before Christmas, so it's been about 9 months.
Yeah. It looks good.
That is the. It's got some green dust algae on it, but I'm not too worried about it. But
Yeah, and we're talking
it,
about the leaf that's got the
yeah,
waves on it. If for anyone who maybe doesn't know the plant, it was sold to me as just a large Anubias. The only Anubias I can find that it really matches up with is Barteri, and I guess I'm saying that right.
I
Bartari,
think that
Barteri.
I think it makes sense because it doesn't. The size would almost make me say coppifolia, but it doesn't have the
Yeah,
hard,
yeah,
definitive. Coppifolia has those deeper ridges in it.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so I mean, Anubias is. I mean, it's an incredible plant. It's from central Western Africa. Um, gets its name. I mean, to show you how resilient it is, in Egyptian mythology, it's named after Anubis, the
mhm,
uh, god of the afterlife. So I mean,
yeah,
it keeps coming back.
yeah. Yes. And that's been my experience, and I'll never forget. Like the whole reason why I bought one was I remember hearing Corey with Aquarium Co-op talking about how it's one of those plants that it grows slow, and that means it takes a long time to kill it, and you should be able to see that you're having problems and correct before you kill
Yes.
it. And I was like, okay, that's what I need to do. And so my first successful tank had this, like the plant this came off of. I still have that plant, and that plant, that was why I bought that plant. So, and I did one time. I dunked everything in hydrogen peroxide to get rid of some blackbeard algae. It worked beautifully. It cleared all the blackbeard algae for 2 days. I had a pristine tank. On the third day, everything started melting, and everything melted back to the roots and the rhizomes. And I thought I'd killed this thing. I thought I had succeeded where others had failed, but it did come back. And I mean, it's a huge part of that tank right now.
Yeah. And you've got so many, like we were saying earlier, so many different textures and
Mhm.
sizes with this plant that you can, from the smallest of tanks to the largest of tanks, it can be an impactful plant that really you don't have to worry about. I've kept it when I had kept some cichlids before, I'd kept it with cichlids, and the cichlids were fine with it.
Yeah.
It's got really thick, waxy leaves, which are perfect to keep other, more of the herbivore herbaceous,
Yeah.
the fish that eat plants,
Your
plant matter.
plecos, your plecos are possibly going to live with it, as opposed to like
Yeah,
they eat swords and other large leaved plants, but I think
yeah,
these are a little too hard. Like they don't enjoy it.
I think they are. I've got some bristlenose with some Amazon swords, and the swords do really well, but the Anubias does fantastic. They
Yeah.
don't mess with it. Um, it is I guess, general rundown. It is a rhizome plant, so don't
Don't
bury the
bury it.
rhizome. But you can plant this plant in soil. Just don't bury the rhizome.
Yeah. So the rhizome. Hold on. Let me put us up here. So for those who don't know, roots go down and the rhizome goes across. So the part that goes across, don't plant that. You can put the roots down in the substrate. They're going to go there anyway, eventually. But don't put the rhizome because it will. It doesn't melt. It just becomes a nasty, stinky mess.
Yeah, it kind of disintegrates, and then you can get what is that? I need to look it up because I can't think of it. Nancy B saying she got a Anubias gigantea. Where did you get that? Because that would be, I haven't seen that in person. That'd be cool to get.
Yeah. Yeah, while you're looking that up, let's look at a few other things that are in the chat beyond the comments on my unsweet tea. Zenny says Anubias cophifolia. I don't know why I do that. Cophifolia is the most durable plant I've ever owned. It's gone through all the conditions plus goldfish, and it's massive now. So yeah, that's one I've wanted. I've wanted to pick that one up. There's a few Anubias I'd like to pick up. Zenny says I do overfeed, so I do have to trim some of the dangling roots that collect black beard algae, and that's true, but that's a me problem. I've had that too over the years, and that is one thing I wanted to point out about this plant while Tanner's looking this up. You do have to find a balance with your lighting with this plant, because if you have it in a tank full of high energy plants and you've got your light on very bright for a long period of time, this plant will hate that. It will grow a lot of algae. It will struggle. So it's real important that what I found, shade it. I tucked mine in underneath Amazon swords and underneath Vallisneria, and I try to always have my Anubias tucked in underneath the taller plants, so that, which this Barteri wants to reach up to the water level. So I'm constantly fighting that with it, but you want to tuck it in and get it some shade. Or you can do, I've done this too, if you have floating plants, put it on the end of the aquarium where those floating plants are maybe being pushed by the flow, and that way the floating plants stay over top of your Anubias. That also helps. I do that a lot. That's the main reason why I have floating plants. And that's why if you look at the 75 on the end with the sand, that's where I have my large Anubias, and that's because I keep my floating plants over there. That's where the flow on that tank is pointed. But if you don't do that, it will grow blackbeard algae. If it's got a lot of flow around it and a lot of high light, you'll get blackbeard. If you just have high light, you'll see some green spot algae will grow on it. I've had that too. I have had blackbeard on the roots as well. That is something that you'll have to trim off from time to time if it's getting a lot of light, or like Zenny said, if you feed a lot and you got a lot of nutrients. And another thing that I've experienced with it is potassium holes. You've got to make sure you're putting potassium in the water. It's not quite like Java fern. I feel like Java fern is a little pickier for me, but my Anubias is a telltale of when I need to be dosing more fertilizer, which means a lot of times, honestly, for me, it means I need to do a water change so I can dose fertilizer, because my nitrates, because the tank's so heavily stocked and I have so many fish in there, that I'm generally good on nitrates, but I start seeing some potassium deficiencies. Got to do that water change. Got to put fertilizer in there because I'm using it all in one. I mean, I could buy a potassium only fertilizer, but honestly, my all-in-one fertilizer that I use, Easy Green, has a lot of potassium in it. I messaged Tanner. I was at the store one day and I was like, hey, I'm looking at this bottle of potassium and it only has this. Easy Green has this. Like, why would I even buy this bottle? It's a waste for me to buy this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of the liquid ferts, quite honestly, you're paying a lot of money for water. That's going to be, I've got that included for Saturday for the presentation. And while I mentioned it, so I'm speaking at the East Tennessee Aquatic Association August meeting on high energy planted tanks. If you're in the Knoxville area, come out and check it out. I'm also finalizing the presentation. So kind of looking for more ideas. So if there's
Yeah.
something that you want to know about high energy tanks with CO2, lots of ferts, lots of light, put it in the chat, because I'm trying to, cover a lot of stuff and make it a
Yes.
really fun time.
Good call. We do need to bring that up this weekend. We realized last weekend when we got off the live stream that we did not bring up MCAS meeting last week.
Yeah.
And so I really am disappointed that we didn't talk about that. However, you all had a phenomenal turnout, and it was great to see those images. And you guys had your membership open up for the first time. Mm-hmm. MCAS is going. So if you're in the Middle Tennessee area, and East Tennessee's too far, make sure you go to MCAS and check them out. That's Music City Aquarium Society. Aquatic.
Yeah.
Aquarium.
Aquarium.
Okay.
Aquarium.
I had it, and you had me second guessing myself. Music City Aquarium Society.
Yeah.
All of our ETAA is the same way. It's funny what we see sometimes. But yeah, check that out. They're doing a phenomenal job there. You guys are going to have to find another location soon, though.
We are. I've been trying hot and heavy, and unfortunately have been coming up empty. Been getting lots of sad text of, "Hey, sorry, can't do it." I'm like, man, yeah, I get it, but come on, just let us, please.
Yeah.
Nancy B saying she's an official paid member of MCAS now. Yes, that's true. We opened up our meetings. Meetings are completely free and open to anyone who wants to come. However, we have started to implement a membership program where you get to have some extra perks and get to do some really fun, cool stuff. So it's really not, it's $10. So it's a meal at McDonald's or a membership at a fun fish club
for the year. It's
for the year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right. That's awesome. I'm very glad for you guys. I know you all have been working hard. And you're on top of it. And I love just chatting about that part of it. And I know people like to hear that part of our live stream. And I hate that we missed out on talking about what you guys were going to have. I do want to add, for those of you who maybe can't make it to the ETAA because you're in Texas or Pennsylvania or wherever you are, can't make it to the meeting, we do put those up on the ETAA, or the East Tennessee Aquatic Association's YouTube channel, so you can watch it. And Tanner's done previous presentations there before. You did one with Sean and one by yourself, so you've done two. Is that right?
No, this will be my second one. This will be my first solo at the ETAA. This will be my second or third different club talk besides Music City.
That's what I'm thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, I spoke at John Select Pet at the Bluegrass Fish Keepers Association in Lexington. Another fun time.
Speaking of which, in September, John will be the speaker at ETAA. So if you've ever wanted to meet Select Pet, he's going to be talking about CARES, which I had no idea what that was until he told me that's what he wanted to speak on. And I was like, I don't care, man. What do you want to whatever you want to talk. Yeah. And he was like, he explained to me that it was about conservation of species and protecting these, hobbyists protecting these species and everything. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I do want to learn about that. So he's going to be talking about that. We're a little bit up in the air on a few things because being in Knoxville, we have the University of Tennessee is downtown. There is a ball game when we should be meeting for our meeting, so we can't do it downtown. We're having to look at either changing the date, the time, or the location. And it's looking like, not definite, it's looking like we're going to keep everything but the location. We're going to move it. And it's going to be someplace fun. We're going to make it a good time. We're going to make the most of it. Maybe have cookout. No promises. It's going to be a good time, though, if we can get electricity. But yeah, if you're not following the ETAA and you're close enough by to make it to that, definitely find us on Facebook. We will be letting everybody know as soon as we have those details ironed out. We've had several meetings trying to work this out because this one in particular caught us off guard. I thought we were good for September, and then the announcements came out. And it's like, oh no, that's not good. So we're working on it. Anyway, we are off on a detour.
We are. Let's pull up some more plant pictures. Looks like Zenny's,
there you go.
Zenny's also saying, when I measured out all my dry ferts and did the calcs, I bet liquid ferts are about 93% water.
Yeah.
That's barely accurate.
Yeah. And
I would agree with that.
With running CO2 and everything, I'm tempted to start looking into the dry stuff and figuring it up.
Yeah.
Could be
I
worth
haven't
it.
done it before, but I'm familiar with the process and have done similar
Yeah.
things. It's not get a scale and weigh everything out and do it like a kitchen scale. I think would be perfect.
Yeah.
And it's really just experiment with it, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Looks like we've got Clicks Images. I think, is that Carl? I believe. If so, hope you're doing well. Good to see you.
I wanted to point out, Zenny says that Buse likes to be shaded too, and that Anubias is usually pretty okay in standard lighting for most tanks. But if you have really strong light or a lidless tank, and that is true. That's what I was. Yep, I agree. Jimmy P says they may be having a live stream coming up soon about liquid ferts. So that's good.
Nice. That'll be one to tune into.
Yeah. Oh, yes, Jimmy, we are talking about dry ferts that you add to water. Okay, cool.
Oh, nice.
Well, that'll be a good one to catch, especially since I'm considering it. So that's Skull Aquatics and Jimmy P doing that. When's that coming up? Let us know. Let's see. Zenny shared ETAA. Zenny shared a lot of links. Thank you, Zenny. Thank you to
yes,
for
thank you
all
so
that
much.
you do, and for the other mods who are here and might help out with things. Kick people out when they're unruly. That never happens. But Clicks Images says you are correct.
Nice. It was good seeing you at the last meeting. I hope those you said those Corys that you got from me laid eggs like the next day, so that's awesome.
Cool. What were they?
Some albino Corys that I had bred.
Oh, awesome.
I was clearing out the 55 to put some new stuff in. I got rid of the cribs, unfortunately, but I'd gotten a group of, I think, 8 of them, and they were juveniles, and I thought I would get at least one female, and all were males. So I only have one female. So I was like, I need to – I don't need all these guys in here eating all my guppies.
Yep. All right, I'll bring it up now. Let's go. I don't like that. Hold on. There we go. Let's just throw us out. There we go. Now we're looking at some Anubias and Crips here.
Yeah, so we've talked about Anubias, but another one of Mitch's and our favorite aquarium plants is Cryptocorn Wintii. Pretty much just indestructible plant for our area. They love hard water, which
we have the hard water.
We have a lot of that. So, Crips do phenomenal. They're another plant that can take the abuse of a inexperienced or negligent aquarium plant keeper, call it, because they can do low light. They can do, they can be covered in algae and still keep growing. They're just a really good plant. Once they get established, they're another one of the slow and steady plants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Crips, the one thing that you hear most often, and I think it does scare some people away from trying them, is the Crip melt. You've probably seen that online or heard people talk about it. It is a thing for the most part. They don't like to be moved, even within the same aquarium. They're not very fond of being uprooted and placed someplace else. So anytime you move them, they're not going to like it, especially if you move them from one water chemistry to another. So if you get them, if you buy them online and you plant them in your aquarium, and the place you bought them from is in another state, it's very likely you're going to experience some Crip melt, but it's not like you're going to lose them. Hopefully you get some Crips that have some great roots on them. That's really what you're buying in that situation. And even though they're going to melt back some, they're going to come back and they're going to be great. And now for me, my first Crips, I didn't really want Crips, and I was having so much trouble with all the plants I wanted to keep when I got the 75, and I was at Aquatic Marine, and this was actually with the old ownership. And no, actually it was with the new ownership. It was right after they took over, and they had just had somebody drop off like a tank full of crypts. They were just floating. It was just a huge tank, or not a huge tank, but it was just a tank full of floating crypts. They hadn't done anything with them yet. And so I grabbed a couple of those, and then they had this one bronze that was this thing. Honestly, the leaves were this big. That's all the leaves were. And it was flat. Like it had been in a high light tank. It was growing flat. And it just looked like a star is what it looked like. And of course, when I planted it, it stood straight up because I didn't have that powerful lighting. But when I bought those 3, I think I started off with 3. They did not melt, even though I kind of figured they would, because the place that I bought them from uses RO water and I don't. So my water does have a lot more. It's much, it's very hard water. I figured they would melt some, but they didn't. They just took off and they filled. All the crypts that I have came from those. Except for I've added 1 crypt spiralis, which I can't find right now, and I've added the 3 crypt flamingos. But if I'm not mistaken, the flamingo is actually just a genetic variant of Wintai, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's as far as I'm aware, it's a cultivar.
Yeah.
I don't know how exactly it was created, but I should look that up. That's an interesting topic. Crypts are a very interesting plant with how they can be crossed and different cultivars can be made. It's a very the genetic structure. Actually, I'll refer y'all, if y'all are interested in crypts, I think Watercolors Aquarium Gallery just came out with a phenomenal podcast episode on crypts, and they go into the genetic structure and makeup and how the different crypt variants come about. Okay. And it is fascinating.
Which podcast was this?
Watercolors Aquarium Gallery.
Okay.
They are Curtis put me onto this podcast, but they're a local aquarium store in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Watercolors.
Yep. Aquarium Gallery.
I keep forgetting to do this, so I am doing it right now so I don't forget again.
Nancy, I hope that pink flamingo does well for you. If not, I have
blame Zinni.
Just shoot. Yeah, first blame Zinni. Second, shoot me a message and I'll get you squared away if that one doesn't do too well.
Yeah, and I agree, Zinni. Put root tabs on either side of it every month or two, and that's true. She says they do burn easily, so they need to be 2 to 3 inches away from the base. Zinni, what root tabs are you using? It's one of the reasons why I like the co-op's root tabs. I have not experienced, like I have literally put them in the root ball of plants before I planted them, and it's never burnt anything. And I know that Corey talks about how he formulated them. I don't know any of the details of that, but what they made, he wanted to be able to put them in the rock wool of his plants and it not burn them. So whatever it is, it'll do that. So I don't know if you use the co-op's root tabs or not, but maybe try those if that's true.
Yeah. So I do the Osmocote root tabs, which are tons more nutrients than the commercially offered aquarium root tabs. I put them right under the crypt flamingos. I haven't noticed burning, but maybe I should keep an eye out for that. I haven't noticed that before, but yes, on the root tabs, crypts are a massive root feeder, and that's what's nice about them is that if you just have a good substrate, you can easily just grow tons of crypts, and they look awesome. You can get all kinds of different types of crypts that are honestly pretty much all the same level of difficulty. Similar to Anubias, you get a lot of different looks in the same type, in the same genus of plant.
Yeah, and the variety is really nice too. Like I have considered, there was one point when I'd given up on the 75 and thought I'm just going to do all kinds of crypts, all different kinds of crypts. And so, I started off with crypt parva, and that was the biggest mistake because that discouraged me too. If you don't know crypt parva, it is it may not be the slowest growing crypt, but it is the slowest growing common crypt out there that
Yes.
you'll see. It's really cool. It makes a really cool ground cover, but your grandkids will have to enjoy it because you'll never see it happen unless you spend a lot of
Yes.
money on it. um,
I've grown it immersed
yeah,
in a tub, and it still grows slower than any other crypt I have that is in a non CO2
yeah,
medium light tank. And I'm like, you are getting as much CO2 as you could possibly want. You are
yeah,
outside getting sunlight. Why won't you grow?
yeah. Yeah, it's true. I bought 2 of them and they're not cheap. They weren't cheap plants. I mean, they're not like $25 plants or anything, but I still feel like they were probably 15 bucks. Maybe not. I don't know.
I
I
see
take
them
it
at
back.
least 8, $9 to $10 a pot is pretty
Yeah.
average, which is
Yeah, I
for a
for
plant
plant.
that won't grow that much.
Yeah.
For a plant that big,
I was
the
about to say,
pot
and when you get
that's
it,
expensive.
it's only that tall when you get it. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not any that's as big as it gets, I think. But you're right. And then you only get that, that 2-inch pot or whatever it is. It's a lot of money for that little bit of plant. And considering that I can't even find it, I don't know if it's still in the 75. It hasn't shown up. I have other plants that have started showing up just randomly in the 75. It's
yeah.
pretty awesome. But
That CO2 will make everything just be like, I didn't know
yeah,
that was in there.
it's happened. I'm pretty sure that pogo stemon, whatever it was that I got from you, is growing in my tank again.
Oh, the stellata or
Yeah, stellata.
stellatus.
I don't know. Not octopus.
Anyways, I was looking at pictures of that for my presentation, and I was like, man, I wish I still had that plant.
Well, if it gets growing, I'll make sure you get some. If that's what it is, it could be octopus, but it doesn't look like it's got. Octopus has these really long leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look like it's got that. It looks like it's staying much more compact. And that's the only plant like that I've had is the one I got from you, whatever it's called. All right. So crypts, love crypts.
Yeah, crypts are awesome.
Yeah. And I love the look of them and the color variations are cool. I'm really excited to try these pink flamingos. They look great in the tank. I wasn't, there's been times I've been like, I don't know that I want to put that in there, but they look good. They do.
Yeah, the one thing about pink flamingos, it's definitely, if you're going for a natural looking tank, it can look a little unnatural just because it's so vibrantly pink.
Mm-hmm.
We actually at the MCAS meeting we started, it's the Barbie crypt.
Okay.
So I feel like there could have been like Boost Plan or somebody could have done some marketing with the Barbie movie and been like Barbie crypts for sale, 2 for $30.
Yeah, it's probably at Petco. We need to go in Petco and see if they're doing it. They've got a dream house that you can put in a 75.
Do they really? Oh,
I made that up. I don't know. No, I was saying
I wouldn't doubt it.
I was saying they could.
So we've got the Anubius again. I think the next one is a bunch of crypts. I hope.
The one after this one?
Yeah.
My mouse. Come on. Yes.
Yeah. So this is just a testament to how cool and awesome and fun and easy crypts are. They grow. These were planted in February as baby, teeny tiny, 2-leaved crypts, and now they are big, happy adult crypts. But really, they just grow easy and they're low maintenance and just fun. I can't plug crypts enough as being one of the easiest and best plants in the hobby, honestly.
So Zenny says, LOL Barbie Dream Crypt. That's totally made my Scruffy City Aquatic shirt idea list. I wonder if I can get sued for using the name Barbie, though. Probably not if I'm only going to, sell 2 shirts. My kids will probably wear it, but I might have to do that.
That would be awesome.
Sorry, squirrel. Yeah, they're phenomenal, and you got all the different sizes. What's the one that gets really, really? There's one that gets really, really tall, and I've thought about getting it, but maybe it's Spiralis.
Spiralis is tall but skinny. And then you've
Yeah.
got Cryptolatea, which will get tall
Yes.
but kind of has an arrow-shaped leaf.
Yep.
One of my favorite crypts, and I wish I would have put a picture in of it, that I have recently got is Crypt Aponegitifolia.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like an Aponegeton, but it's a crypt.
I saw that
And
recently.
it gets massive. And I was lucky enough, somehow this one of the guys at a local store near me, he had helped break down this guy's tank, and the guy was like, I don't know what's in here, you can just have all of it, to the guy at the store. And I came into the store one day and I was like, what is that in that pot? Is that an Aponegeton? And he goes, no, it's a crypt. I said, I need that. So he said, well, I'm trying to grow it out myself, let me grow it out a little bit and I'll give you one. So I traded him some plants for it, and I got it.
Awesome. So Aquatic Marine has had these.
Interesting.
And you reminded me that that's what it was, because me and Rob were there one time. I ran in, I love being part of a club and randomly running into club members. And so I ran into one of our friends, Rob Ziegler, there. And we were just chatting while, blocking the planted tank and being asked to move constantly so that they could sell plants. But we were looking at this tank and I was like, what is that? And we just kept looking at it and I was like, it looks like it could be a crypt, but it's not. It's and I was like, I think I said maybe it's an I can't say it now. Aponegeton. I'm horrible at this, y'all. But I was like, it looks like, and I couldn't say it. I said it's in a pot of something, and I had to look it up, and I showed him. I was like, but that's not what that is. Like, that looks like it, but it's not. And so when I did finally come across it, I don't remember where I came across it. I was like, that was a crypt. So yeah, that would be a cool plant to have. And I hate that I missed out on those. Hopefully they get some more.
Yeah, well, I should hopefully have. It is a plant that I have wanted for so long, and since I've heard of the plant, that I have separated it into 3 separate tanks, so that I hopefully in no way lose it. So once I have some more, I certainly plan on spreading it around, because it is just a super cool crypt.
Yeah, for me, I've learned my lesson to not buy plants when I don't know what they are, and so. Nobody there was able to tell me what it was. And I was like, I'm not going to buy it if I don't know what it is, because I totally would kill it and be very disappointed. So, but yeah, it's a cool plant. And I really do like, spiralis, and that's a plant. Like I'm hoping mine shows up. I kept it for a very long time. I got it spring over a year. It's almost been 2 years ago, and it's just kind of disappeared. And maybe it's just not growing as fast as the other crypts, and because the other crypts took off not long ago, and so they're standing tall. But I need to dig around and see if I can find it. I was checking to see who's live, because we're a little bit over.
Oh goodness, it's already been an hour. Time flies when you're talking plants.
Yeah. So let's see here. We've got a couple more slides, and really just this. This will cover it, because the other slide is just more moss. Yeah.
The other slide was to show how quick and easy it will accumulate. But Java moss, just the easiest of the mosses. It's not actually from Java. Fun fact: Java fern is not from Java either. But Java moss is just a really simple, easy, low light, can do highlight, can do in a bucket outside, can do in a bucket next to your tank. It just grows.
They're great for shrimps.
Yes.
Yep. Fry, love it. Yeah, it is. I always wanted to have a nice moss carpet on something, like on a piece of driftwood or something like that. And so I really like that look, like you have here in this picture.
Yes.
I've attempted that a few times in the 75 and never gotten it to work, because I think the flow might be a little too high. Maybe I need to do a little better job of getting it stationary. But the thing there is, it will it will drift around your tank if you're not careful. So you do want to maybe get it glued down with some of the gel glue that you can use in the aquarium. You can do that, or I've seen people tie it down too. It's after 10. You'll see what happens. It's after 10. I'm yawning. So I've seen people tie it down too. But if you get it to stay on something for a little while, it will start to grow onto it and hold on. And it gets a really nice, cool look. And a lot of times you can buy it already on a mat or on something. You typically pay more for it when it's like that, as opposed to getting a little cup of it and growing it yourself. But I have found that it tends to like cooler water for me.
Yeah, I think so.
It doesn't do so well in the higher temperatures. But if I've got for right now, I've got a little 3-gallon tank that I plan on putting some shrimp in, and I went ahead and threw some moss in there, and it's taking over, and it's not heated. It's an unheated tank. And I've got moss in other tanks, but it's not taking off like that.
Yeah, so I want to pick up. Zinni said that Aponogeton, I don't know how to say that one, but the Madagascar lace are some of their favorite varieties. I have both of those in the 55, and then Nancy B's saying that the Olvaceus, however you say it, flowered and melted a few months ago. So those have a what's called like a latent or like dormancy period where the bulb won't produce leaves for a while. So they kind of go through that like cyclical cycle. I just repeated myself, but that cyclical period in nature, they'll go through that. So it should come back for you.
Yeah. Yeah, those are pretty cool. There's a few plants like that. I've come across some. Will an onion, like the common onion plant, do that too?
Common onion plant. Crinum calamostratum?
Maybe. At PetSmart, they sell it with the lace plant, like in a little, like you buy the bulbs, and I'm pretty sure both of them melted back on me and came back. I could be wrong.
The crinum can. The onion plant. No, the Crinum calamostratum doesn't come from a bulb.
Okay.
You might be. I know that they sell the lotus, one of the tiger lotus varieties, like one of the nymphaeas, and
yeah, it wasn't that.
I don't know though.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I had it, so I can't remember. But they sell it in a little package, and you get like 4 or 5 bulbs in it, and they're different plants.
I've seen a lot of people get those and say nothing has ever.
Oh no, I did have stuff grow for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I had a lot grow from it. I just didn't like any of it, so I didn't keep it. But yeah.
Yes. So in the move, my Madagascar lace it used to be massive and had huge leaves and was beautiful, but then it's died back and it has tiny leaves, but it's growing back. And then the U one, I don't know how to say it correctly, but it's doing well. It's actually floating right now. I need to get it planted.
Yeah. I found it on a Reddit. It's 1 water lily, 1 water onion, and 2 Aponogeton.
Huh. What is a water onion?
It's weeds. You're just buying weeds, I'm sure.
Okay. I did not. The Zephyr rain lily? Zephyranthes candida? Huh.
Yeah.
I've not seen it. It looks like an onion.
Yeah, it is. If you I don't think it is an onion. When you pull it out, that's what it is. And they're on all the PetSmarts I've ever seen them at. They're on. You know how they have like the end cap with the plants and the tubes?
Yeah.
It's on the side of that on a peg.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Sometimes they have had good, like the Boost tissue cultures is actually pretty cool. Oh, okay, so Zinni's saying Calamostratum and another crinum are both called water onions. That makes sense because the Calamostratum is what I've heard called water onion. I got that for the first time the other day, and I'm really excited to try and grow just a monstrous one because they'll get like 4 feet tall
Wow.
if you
That's
let them. So I put it in the 120,
yeah.
and the 120 is 2 feet tall, but it can grow over. So I'm
Right.
excited.
That'll be cool. Moss, easy to take care of. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it likes a little bit of fertilizer, but you don't have to go crazy. It will survive. But to get it growing, the people that really have it growing, I think you've got to watch your lighting on it, because too much lighting, you start getting algae in it. Blackbeard algae. I got blackbeard algae in mine a lot and would have to clear it out. Huh. So keeping's back. So that's it for the evening. In all seriousness, it actually is. I got to get up super early in the morning. So I hope you enjoy the replay. Glad you did make it back, though. Hope you had a great dinner with the family. Thank you to everyone. Did you have anything else you wanted to add on Moss?
No, it's awesome and good for shrimp fry and everything. And
there's variety.
There's a
Not
lot
just
of different
Java.
Yeah. Most of them are easy. Other than that, come out this Saturday and to the ETAA meeting. Come see Mitch and I and hang out and have some fun. Talk fish.
Talk fish. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. Hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you when we see you. Enjoy your tanks.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.